Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome to another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique, where I take your best 10 images and give them a critiquerson. You can submit your best 10 images over on the site. Just look for the link that says submit your stuff. Now, one more thing, if you have camera gear, which I highly think you do because you're watching my channel, go download my new free app called My Gear Vault. It's the best way to help you input, organize, and protect your gear, and it's free. Go check it out at mygearvault.com and in the Apple App Store. Coming soon for Android. The first one here is for the Fro from Dalton Adkins. All right, let's take a look at Dalton Adkins' photos here and see what we've got. So let's see what it's taken with. EOS 60D. Right? 60D with the 18-135 kit lens, which I've used. It's a very good kit lens. You can get some fantastic results with it. First thing I notice is Adkins Media Productions, bottom right-hand corner. Look, watermarks are your own personal preference. I see the allure to doing them. I've used them myself. I don't use them currently, but I could see going back to using them because you want people to know that you took the photo. It's really something that if you're gonna do the watermarks, maybe don't make it so huge and easy to see. Though that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the watermark, so don't look at me. In terms of the colors look great here. It is a snapshot, yes. It has a very snapshot feel because you look up, you get the picture. Now, in the constructive criticism, which I don't take very well, I would make sure that I leave less space up here if this is the focus. If the Memphis music is the focus, I would make sure I get rid of most of this on the left-hand side, though it could be good for leading lines in, because I do like how the walls are leading, but I would maybe like to see the Memphis thing just a little bit higher, but the colors are fine. It's an okay picture, nothing super duper special and fantastic. Let's see, EOS 60D, same thing. This is more of a snapshot, as you can tell. The background isn't blurred out. Why are we at, we're at 135 at f25 at ISO 400. Holy Jesus, Dalton. Okay, so why are we at f25? One of the reasons we're at f25 is because it's snowing, or the snow on the ground, which means the light is reflecting back off of the ground, which is then bouncing back into your camera, telling you that it's super bright out. You better raise your shutter speed in order to compensate for this. He's got to be in in auto for this to have f25 going on. If you're going to shoot outside in the snow, you got to underexpose. You got to know that your exposure is going to be thrown off by that, and then you compensate for that when you take the picture. But in something like this, this is too much of a snapshot. Now, to blow out the background more, even at 125, you're going to need to drop your ISO from 400 down to 100, or the lowest that it offers you. You can speed up your shutter speed to compensate for a more wide open aperture. But look, even at 5.6, you would have been able to blow out the background more and get rid of these cars. And I'm not saying it would have made it a better picture. I mean, it would have made it a better picture, but it's still not a great picture. It's more of a snapshot. So bear with me. Now this, Dalton, is a hell of a lot better, except for that freaking watermark in the bottom corner. Let me reiterate this one more time. When it comes to watermarks on your images, I am not anti-it and I am not totally for it. I'm somewhere in the middle. I understand the allure, like I said before. I get it. Having people see your pictures with your watermark lets them know that you've taken it. I've done that in the past as well. But if you're gonna do it, it can't really detract from the image that you're taking, or that you're showing. In this case, look at that. It's showing right down at the bottom. It's taking away from the nice lightning photo that is a great photo. So if you're gonna put a watermark out there, make sure that it's not in the way, and it's not super easy to see, which may defeat the purpose, but you know, maybe just take the gradation down so that it fades away a little bit, cut it in half to 50% so that they can see. So this is much better. Now we've got a lot of cloud dead space up top. A creative crop could work in a case like this. It's pretty amazing though to see the light that is coming across the ground here and then capturing the lightning. Fantastic job capturing the lightning. EOS 5D Mark III, we've upgraded with a 51.8. Very nice job. That is much better. Wow, that's much better. How's the next one? Okay, so exposure-wise, I think I may know what's happening here. Yes, f1.8, 1/1000th of a second at ISO 100. What's happening here is that this most likely was taken in auto mode, like aperture priority. And what is happening is that the sun, being that it's right in the middle, is getting metered for more than the shade area, which would be this thing of hay. So in order to I can see that this was brought back in post-processing because this just looks not so good over here. This looks like it was brought back with the shadows. The way that you can get around this is you're exposing for the shadow area, not for the highlights. In this case, the sun is the highlight, and it's throwing off your exposure. That's why you're at 1/1000th at f1.8, but there's no reason to be at f1.8 for something like this. You could shoot at 2.8 or 3.5. This would be in focus, and the entire background would still blow out of focus. When I say blow out of focus, I mean the bokeh area blown out. That would go away because it's so deep. That's what happens with aperture. It expands. The higher the number, the smaller the amount of light you're letting in, the more everything's going to expand. The smaller the number, like 2.8 or 1.8, the larger the opening, the less depth of field you're going to have. You're going to isolate your subject, but as the background expands, it's easier to isolate the subject. So that's my feedback on that, is expose for the hay and then process for it. Now that's better. I mean, this is a crop, but I don't care. It looks great. The colors are very nice. The watermark sucks in my mind. Just get rid of the watermark. Do something else with the watermark. We need to come up with a way to watermark our images out there some way. Maybe I need to invent some kind of plugin or some kind of thing that puts, but even if you upload it to Facebook, it's just going to get stripped. Something that, you know, it's called metadata. I understand it's metadata, but most people don't know about metadata. So I don't know. I'll have to think on that one. Did I mention that my new app is free and it's called My Gear Vault? Anyway, great photo, great colors, great tones. Love what's going on in here. In the case of a photo story, this would look great. Okay, there you go. Hey, much better. f3.2, 1/160th of a second, 150 millimeters with the 70 to 200 2.8. Holy Jesus, you've seen they've gone from a 60D and they've upgraded and it's made a big difference, but they still need to know what they're doing. This is much better. This is what I'm talking about. You got your exposure right for this. It probably should have been close to the same exposure for the hay photo before. This is very nice. One thing to consider is maybe move the hay off to the side, the one that's in focus, because I love that this is higher, this is lower, this is lower, this is lower. So check this out. If I'm going to draw a compositional box across it, imagine something like that. Now, I didn't do it right. Okay. More so on the case something like this. Now, would that make for an interesting photo? Think of it in the terms of composition. That would be good. This isn't bad. I do like it. I do hate the watermark. Next. Ah! What is this? Why is this in here? I'm going to talk to you, Dalton, personally. Me to you. Nobody else is watching this, just me to you. You have some fantastic photos here. I'm just going to point out that this isn't one of them. And I don't want you to take that as I think your photos are terrible. No, I just think that this photo isn't very good, but your other photos that I've said are really good are really good. One, you've got a watermark running all the way across the photo entirely. Are you worried that the guy's going to take the photo and use it? Maybe this was a mistake that you put this here. But look, you've got great photos. This isn't one, and get rid of a watermark. If you're going to have a watermark, don't do this to it. And that goes for everybody else who's now watching again. Don't do a watermark like this. If somebody's going to take your photo, let them take the photo in this day and age. That's going to help you more than doing this. That's going to piss people off. All right, so criticism on the photo. Let me tell you how to make it better. How to make this one better. One, get the action coming towards you, right? Action going away would be good. If the guy was on the ground and he's hurt and his head's down or something, or his leg's broken and it's hanging there, that can work. If they're running towards you, that's going to be good. But I just don't understand this photo at all. I'm curious about what these banners are, though, with people's photos on them in the background. That's why I got to get off of that photo. There you go. That's really good. That's much better. So that's the, is that a, they're not the Blue Angels. They're the, I forget what they're called. But anyway, they're crossing. It's an air show, right. They're crossing, good timing, looks good, nice job, nice exposure, nice creative crop. What lens was it? It was a 70-200 2.8, which is a little short on the full frame for shooting airplanes. It's just the nature of the beast. Moving on to the next one. So we've got a combine here. I want to go spend time on a farm, and I want to go tell the photo story. What would make this photo story better? This photo itself, in a nice black and white processing, could be better. Or with more contrast for the color, pumping up the John Deere green could make it better. This is just not processed right. It's a nice image capture. It tells a nice story because you've got the combine, you've got the silos in the background, you've got what I think is wheat, right? So the other stuff before wasn't hay, it was wheat. But does wheat make hay, or is I'm not a farmer, though I would like to go on a farm one day and do some farming stuff. So I think a high contrast black and white would be superb. I also think a better processed color would be better as well. So this is looking into a silo. In part of a photo story, it would be much better, but it's not that great of a shot for a photo story. If you came and got a different angle, if you got some of the, okay, what would make this shot a million times better is if you stepped all the way back and shot wider and didn't use a 70-200, even if you broke out a wider angle lens, a 24-70, if you have it, 16-35, whatever you have, get a wider shot, get a large swath of the silo in there, if not the entire thing, with the guy peeking in the door in black and white. That would be my suggestion for that. So those are the 10 photos that I just critiqued. Like these color ones, this section and this one, not this one, and this one, you're showing major promise here. And even with this combine one. So Dalton, you're doing a great job, right? Take this as positive feedback. I know I suck at getting it when people give it to me, but I'm just saying that you've made great progress from when you had the 6DD to now having the 5D Mark III with the better pieces of glass. Great job with some of them. Stick to that. Work on your processing to make stuff become more alive. Play with the black and white versus the color. Look for the different angles, the wides, the tights, the mediums, and the details. Tell the photo stories of the farm. Personally, send me back that I want to see you do a photo story of the farm if you can, and then email me, jared@froknowsphoto.com, with a link to 10 more photos that tell a photo story of a day on the farm. I want to see that, and I'll critique that again and send that back. Take this criticism that I gave you here and put it towards that, and that's your assignment out there, Dalton. And if you'd like to submit your best 10 photos for a rapid-fire critique, Fro Critiques, bit.ly/frocritiques. It's up on the screen. Take a look. It's in a book. You can submit. I can't guarantee that I'll get to everyone, but that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, froknowsphoto.com. See ya. My Gear Vault. Input, organize, protect. Download now for free at mygearvault.com or the Apple App Store. Coming soon to Android.